feel it, Harry? It's our big chance, man.
Well, then who's playing first?
Yeah.
I mean, the fellow's name on first base.
Who?
The horrifying guy.
Oh, jeez. No, Kelly Clarkson!
You mean shenanigans?
No.
I have nipples, Greg. Could you milk me?
I just don't get why you're saying it that way.
Why I'm saying what way?
Answer me!
I'm a man.
Well, nobody's perfect.
And we are indeed live-ish. Welcome back to the 30th edition of the Countdown, where me, JPO, and a friend talk about a sort of top 10, usually involving the world of cinema. This time we're going to the small tube, the boob tube. Why is it the boob tube, by the way? Anyway, it's talking about TV series finales, the last episode ever, some of our favorite TV shows. Of course, sometimes with the way weird TV works now, where everything's getting rebooted, maybe it's not the last episode, but we'll get there when we get there. And I'm here, of course. You've seen him on past episodes. He's doing wedding stuff recently with Brandon.
Look at my disgusting background with all this crap, this box you can't see over here. That's why I have this microphone, to make it look a little more professional. Spoiler alert: it's actually not even plugged in right now, but you know,
it is plugged in.
Is this?
Yeah.
No, I think it's there.
I don't know. When you pushed it away, I heard you less.
Guess it.
He's professional without even knowing it. Jay.
It is plugged in. Never mind. I just banged on it. I apologize to all the viewers out there. My bit is ruined.
Well, we've got a lot of fun bits to talk about here. So our personal top 10 series finales. I don't know what his list is. He doesn't know what mine is. Let's see what we got, though. If you have some honorable mentions, Brandon, throw out your honorable mentions as well as your number 10.
Okay, the final episode of ECW. Final episode of Monday Nitro.
On Sci-Fi or TNN?
The Sci-Fi. No. Okay. I'm going to go. So I have a couple. So we mentioned this beforehand. There was a couple that were on both lists, good and worst. I'm going to say the first 45 minutes of How I Met Your Mother finale. Fantastic. Last whatever. We won't talk about that.
Bottom 5.
What was my so Barry just ended. Don't have enough time with it yet, even though there's some other ones that are recent, but just haven't enough time to kind of go through with it. I remember loving BoJack. We talked about, I just don't remember it, so maybe I want to rewatch it because it probably might make I remember loving it at the time. I just don't really remember what happened to it. Futurama was one of those ones. It's like it was an amazing finale. If it was the finale, I personally watched it right before it got brought back, or right before it premiered. So, like, it wasn't the finale for me, so I couldn't really include that. And then Cowboy Bebop, one of my favorite animes of all time, had an amazing final episode, just full of action, and just an amazing end to the run. And it's a short series; it just wraps it up nice and beautiful. I think that's 5. I don't count these things.
I don't know. I didn't count your own 5. You should count your own 5.
Succession, sure. Thought it was good.
Pretty sure that's 6 now.
Well, you know what? I don't follow rules, okay? Jordan, what are your top? Whatever you want it to be. This is our show. Your show. I'm on.
The final episode of ECW. Let's see what happened. Big Show and The Miz defeated Yoshi, Tatsu, and Goldust to retain the tag titles. That sounds pretty exciting. You had the Abraham Washington show. Remember when he got fired for making a bad Kobe Bryant joke? That happened.
Oh yeah.
And then Ezekiel Jackson defeated Christian. Ezekiel Jackson defeated Christian to win the title. And that's how the series ended, and that's how the he is your last ever ECW
name that
champion.
hasn't been said in forever. Ezekiel Jackson.
He had a bomb theme song like this right here, what you call domination. It's just skill and penetration. No, it's probably not penetration. Anyway,
if you had Ezekiel Jackson on the show about shows, bingo. Check that one off.
I don't remember that. We have my honorable mentions because it's right side of my top 10 here. ER, they ended nicely. Big Bang Theory, and it was a little bit of humor and heart. Another recent one, I will throw Barry on here too. I didn't even think about it, but I think that might go down the list as well. The other two, I just found out that doing this list that was the series finale, evidently, a show I talked about in my top 10 before.
I thought I mentioned it to you on our mid-season.
Maybe you said it and maybe I forgot, or maybe it was up in the air, but yeah, it does seem like that is for sure now the end of the other two. Really good show, short-lived too. I think there's 3 seasons, I believe. And then 2 that I think are polarizing because I saw them on both best and worst lists. Lost. I do like the finale of Lost. I think it's kind of beautiful in a way. The season maybe leading up to it is not so great, but I like the finale, which is what we're talking about. And The Office, I think, ends nicely enough here too. Not enough in my top 10, but not enough to where I'm mad about it either. So, what do you got for your number 10, Brandon? What does make your list?
My number 10 is number 9. 9. I'm going with Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I just rewatched it again recently. It was again a shortened season. I think a good season, but they were able to. It got canceled, and they were able to bring it back and finish it the way they wanted to. Did a little bit of a time. Was there a time jump? No, there wasn't a time jump. But just to kind of wrap things up with Jake leaving. Or we're in spoilers here.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen these shows, I mean, we're obviously going to be talking about the end. So yeah,
if something I don't like, I'll go like this. If I haven't seen it yet, I'll just cover my ears. But yeah, again, just wraps it up super nicely. Everybody gets, all the characters get kind of wrapped up with a nice bow, and it's just a good, solid sitcom. I mean, standard sitcom finale. A lot of these shows are like a lot of the best ones are just sitcoms because it's kind of wrap the characters up, you close the storylines, and then you got a nice, couple more jokes. Don't get too like.
Make sure you're talking to the mic. I'm losing you every once in a while.
I'm switching this 1 second. This thing. That's why I don't use this thing. It doesn't. All right. So a lot of these just kind of is worse.
No, that's good. At least you're solid now.
Okay.
I'd say quality dipped, but the sound, not losing you is better.
But again, just wrapping everything up with a nice bow. Not too what's the word I'm looking for? Stereotypical for a finale, but again, just does a nice, beautiful job.
No, good choice there. I'm a big fan of the show as well. Not on my list, not something that came straight to mind, but yeah, actually, I remember not being any mad at all with the way they wrap things up for our lovely people over at the 9-9. Coming to my number 10, we got Parks and Recreation for me, making my top 10. This one does do several time jumps. They do kind of have several flash forwards and whatnot, and kind of where the characters lead. Just enough though to where you are kind of left with some wonderings and some questions as well here. But again, kind of like what you said with Brooklyn Nine, which I think is kind of what you want from a good series finale, which is you get enough of a resolution with all the characters with a little bit of hint of what could happen and change in the future here. And I thought Parks and Rec actually nailed that pretty darn well here of giving us enough of where the characters kind of go and in a good way too. Ended up falling in love with these characters and happy to see kind of where they more or less landed in the future. Kind of building her career and everything. And then of course, Star-Lord and everyone. So Parks and Rec making my number 10. What you got number 9?
Yeah, if I was allowed to do what I wanted to include my 18 honorable mentions, this would have been on there, but I'm getting bogged down. All right, my number 9. Again, another sitcom. I thought this one ended a little bit better. Again, did a time jump for the last season. One of the things between me and my fiance that the biggest argument is that I think the final season of New Girl is great. She thinks the final season of New Girl is bad, but I love the way they wrapped up the characters. They play one more game of True American with their kids, and like they're still best friends but living together. They move out of the apartment. We find out that the whole reason they moved out of the apartment was because Winston was pranking them, and it actually wasn't the fact that the building was getting bought. It was just a prank the whole time. It was just a beautiful way of getting them out of there, but not just like you have to leave, like the stereotypical way of ending the sitcom, but just a funny episode. Beautiful wrap up of it for these you've mentioned before, these characters that you love. And again, just I think just does a solid job of like they could bring it back, but now they're let them live their lives. I'm good with the characters living their lives. They all have beautiful families now, and we saw them at their their peak or their the most important parts of their lives, and now we say goodbye to them in a ridiculous fashion. So.
Nice. This is a show I know I've kind of fell off on. If my biological brother was here, I think he'd be with you on that. I know he's a big fan of that one. My number 9, going to one of my favorite shows of all time here. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I currently have at number 9. Ends with a big bang here, if you will. All the characters kind of at battle here with the new set of villain of the week here, villain of the season, and it goes down here, man. You got again, spoilers, a little bit of a Spike kind of sacrificing himself for his true love, Buffy. James Marsden is so damn good. It pulls a couple punches here. You lose a couple characters you don't necessarily see, losing. We're talking spoilers, Anya to Nicholas Brennan's Xavier. This is just, I think it hit the nail pretty good. Angel, I thought about it as well, but Angel very much goes, what happens? I don't know. So I don't love the Angel finale. I don't hate it either, but I thought the Buffy finale definitely gives you a little bit more satisfaction of where Buffy and her crew will leave off coming in the future. So my number 9, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
A long blind spot of me, never seen it. So
you sons of a bitch.
I saw it on every list. Yeah, maybe one day.
No, it's good. It like I said, it ends nicely.
Well, maybe I'll check it out.
And the whole show is great.
All right, another show that I'm going to stick with. I'm going to get all my sitcoms out of the way on the bottom of the list. So another show that is a sitcom is the finale, but who knows now with all these reboots, and we're hearing rumblings that The Office is coming back. So I am going with The Office. I do think the last season
UK or American?
American.
Wow, you would.
I get both of them. I do think that the last season, I don't hate the non-Michael stuff as everyone else does. I do think they did a good job, at least the last half of the last season, or I think it was one of those situations like a 2-hour finale, or it was a it's hard to look at it now because I think it was like a 2-parter and they played them both in the same day, so it's like a 2 episodes. I don't remember which ones I get, but Dwight's wedding, you got the documentaries finally aired. You have them dealing with that. You have them all coming back into the office for one last hurrah. You have them wedding. You have Michael coming back. I think I think it really is a nice bow on it, especially since it fell off a little bit. They were able to pick it back up just for a little bit longer and end in a nice way. So I really enjoyed the finale of The Office. Fun fact, I had it recorded on TiVo at the time, and it started late or something, and the TiVo just decided we're just not going to show you the last 5 minutes. Yeah, eventually I got to the point where you can just, especially if you don't do sports, but sports throws everything off. So I always just make sure anytime I recorded anything, I would just add, because you can set it or record the thing after it. Any of the Oscars, whatever, you just record the thing after it, and then the next thing.
That shit adds up, though. That shit adds up, though, on your DVR.
Get rid of it eventually. You gotta watch it.
That's true. That happened once too with a Walking Dead episode. It ended early on my DVR, so 5 characters died, but I didn't know, and everyone online's like, "Oh my god, what an ending!" I'm like, "Ending was boring." I didn't know what anyone was talking about because it just cut before those the last 2 scenes where 5 people died. But no one dies in this finale. Brendan, I want to say thank you for being a friend, walking down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. And if you threw a party, sorry, once you started, it's hard to
breathe, and I was gonna
hard to stop once you started. But no, Golden Girls, man, lovely show here. It's something that I definitely grew up watching, along with my mom and just even by myself in general here. And again, the finale is really sweet as well. If you haven't seen, we're checking out the whole series. We're checking out, but it ends with Dorothy. She's about to get remarried, and she's leaving. She's leaving the pack, baby. Of the 4 here, and there's just again the laughs are there, the sweet emotion is there. It again is just it very much fits with I think any of the best episodes of the Golden Girls here is the emotional send-off of, one of the best friends, going off on a new adventure here. And then you had the Golden Palace with Don Cheadle. Let's never forget the spinoff. But that's not on here. The Golden Girls most certainly is. What do you have at your number 7, B to the Randon?
Number 7. Number 7, I am going to go with Better Call Saul. Now we're getting into, like, in my opinion, everything from here is just like perfection. So Better Call Saul. I know we said about recency stuff. I have a couple recent things on here, but this one just ends so perfectly, especially since we knew where it was going. Or not, we didn't know where it was going because, we knew where some of it was going because it was the prequel. And then that final couple episodes is taking us past that. So, like, we almost had 2 finales. We had, like, meeting up, like, the death of Jimmy and then the death of Saul. Or not death, but you know what I mean. And I like how he just kind of, I think it's just perfect. Like, you don't need everybody. And dramas often they just kill off the main character, and that's just like what they're gonna do. But I think it was just like he got what was coming to him. He accepted his fate, and he was okay with it. He made it out for a little bit, but he had the opportunity to keep jimmying his way, sawing his way through it, and he saved who he loved, and it was paying the price. So I think it was a beautiful, beautiful wrap up. Characters got kind of what they deserved, not necessarily what you wanted them to get, but kind of what they deserved, and just a fantastic series that is just as good as any other show it may or may not be a spinoff of, and we might hear about some other things later. Better Call Saul.
I'm not sure what you mean by that, but okay, sure, whatever. Yeah, Better Call Saul, good choice there. Good choice indeed. And if you want another painstakingly great drama affair, then you just got to talk about my number 7. It's Friends, and that dripping drama. Again, kind of like this one without much of a jump forward here, but again, it gives you a nice little send off of all the characters you've kind of grown to love over the years as well. And going on to the new adventures here. Will Ross and Rachel finally keep their shit together? Probably not. Let's be honest. But of course, you say everyone goodbye. They're moving out of the iconic apartment. Nice little final shot of them, leaving the keys and walking out. And again, there's some good laughs in here as well. Just it's a good way to wrap it up. It very leaves you pretty fulfilled. And again, hoping well for everyone's future endeavors. Friends coming in my number 7. What do you got, number 6?
Number 6. I think this is actually, fun fact, I think this is the only episode of Friends I've seen in entirety. And I watched it.
What, you've seen just the finale?
Yeah, because I was in middle school and everyone was like, you have to watch Friends. And I was like, I'll watch Friends. And I was like, this is a okay show. I think I've seen a handful, but that was the first episode I'd watched was the last episode.
That's funny.
Okay, going into, now we're getting weird, but Jordan and I cleared it with them. I gotta take Scrubs. I know. What about that? We talked about this. The original spinoff was supposed to be called Scrubs Interns. They wanted more viewership and more money, so they were like, let's just call it Scrubs. It's a different show. This episode is called My Finale. It is a finale. It's a perfect finale. We've talked about wrapping everything up, getting the characters exactly what they want, exactly what they need, and putting them, these characters we love, and giving them what they deserve. And in this case, they deserve all the best things that happen to them. So we're just having the beautiful wrap up and all the homages to the back, going back or as he's walking through the hallway, and you just get all that. It's just so much emotion, and it's beautiful. And you're showing a trailer for Scrubs Interns? You jerk!
No, I found this. No. It's a Scrubs like fake trailer of like a new season.
Oh yeah, it was like super cut movie. I thought it was like Garden State 2 you were showing me.
Yeah, this is fake. I don't know.
That's not even from Scrubs.
I know. No, they're slicing in random things now.
Garbage.
Just
Scrubs.
keep talking.
My finale.
Ignore the
Beautiful.
trailer.
Talk about it. 6.
Yeah, much love for Scrubs here. I'm also keeping it in the sitcom territory. My number 6, we're going to New York City. Yeah, there's some clips from I Wish You Were Here. Or wait, yeah, no, that's not what it's called.
No, I know what you're talking about.
30 Rock, I got at my number 6, keeping up with the kind of sitcoms I've been talking about here. I think the laughs are here. I love how it ends. They even kind of do a nice twist with Alec Baldwin's character, who I don't know what he's done something recently where I feel like he's in less movies now. But I don't know. At the moment though, Baldwin's a lot of fun. I know. I was acting like I didn't know.
I was like, where have you been, Gordon?
Yeah, but no, he's great. Like, he's great in this. In fact, my original Peacock avatar was Alec Baldwin for the longest time, because I do love him in this. And there's a great little fun twist of like he's leaving to find a great new idea, and then he's in a boat, and like he literally gets just like a few feet. He goes, "I got the great new idea," and he comes back. And nice finale between him and her. I love the fact that they never tried making them into a sexual relationship. They even make fun of that several times, and they do that kind of beautifully in the end. He's having a big wrap up about how he feels for her, and finally she just says to him, "I love you too, Jack," so that's great. You finally have Liz Lemon, end up with somebody. She ends up with Cyclops, remember? And she ends up with James Marsden. And and very nice last song by Jane Krakowski. She sings like a rural juror song. That's the whole bit, is that the song is just impossible to sing, but Krakowski fucking nails it. So that's hilarious. So it ends the show on a nice note. 30 Rock. We are now in the top 5 here, Brandon.
Talking about most other shows would have put the two main characters together in the finale episode. A show that didn't do that, and I'm glad they didn't do that. A show that, as of right now, is a series finale. My prediction is we might see these characters again, but in a different form. I'm going with Ted Lasso, number 5. Again, most recent one on the list, I think, but it's absolutely perfection. I watched the amount of videos I've watched afterwards where it's like every single reference from episode 1 that's in the finale episode. It's just the way they call everything back. He spits on her, or she spits on him. It made sense of like, because everyone always leaves in sitcoms. You always leave in sitcoms, but like this made sense. He was running from something the whole show. They didn't just make up something for him to leave. They didn't bring in somebody for him to get married to. The whole time he was running away from his life back home, and it was time for him to finally wrap things up and return to there. We saw he's still coaching soccer, still doing what he loves. Yes, there's still stories to be told with some of these characters, but Ted Lasso, as it is perfectly wrapped up in a bow. Even if we see his character again, which they say they might, if they do something else, I think they might do like, he even says it, like the story was never about me. Tells it to Todd when he gives him Trent. He gives him the book. He's like, it's not the Ted Lasso way. It was never about Ted Lasso. It was always about the team. So it's a beautiful wrap up to that story. I'm calling it a finale because I do think we might see these characters again, but just not as Ted Lasso. So, number 5.
No, I'm with you there too. This is another one kind of like Barry. It's not on my list just simply because I don't know, I wanted to sleep on a little bit longer. And I didn't necessarily think of too many shows from this year. But yeah, no, I like how they wrap up too. Like I said, we could maybe see a spinoff in the future here. There's hints of like, Juno Temple's new story and whatnot and all that stuff with some of the teammates. But no, like you said, I think before Ted himself, they had an end in sight, and I'd rather them end on a high note than try to, stretch it out just for the sake of stretching it out. And Absolutely. It fits the character too. I think it would have been it would have been unfair to the character if they had just like kept him in another country for longer.
Yeah, him leaving was always in the cards. Like from the first episode, it was always in the cards.
Well, I know you have this higher than me, but it's where I got it. My number 5 is one of the greatest shows of all time. I have Breaking Bad in my number 5, actually.
Never seen it.
Don't yell at me. Never shot. No, one of the greatest TV shows. It's funny. This and Better Call Saul, for whatever reason, I had the same journey with. Which is where I kind of watched a little bit of season 1. Life got in the way. And then finally, just with all the reviews, I was like, all right, let me catch up. And then ended up falling in love with it, binging it. And then watching the last season organically, both shows. I went and I did the weekly thing at the very, very end. Breaking Bad stays great twists and turns here, and even in the finale here, I'm just wondering how Walter White won't get away with it, live, die. Poor Jesse, not poor Jesse Plemons. Fuck you, Jesse Plemons. Poor Jesse and Aaron Paul. He gets treated horribly in this last season here. Of course, you got a little bit of the kind of bonus El Camino, which I think is also great. I had El Camino in my top 10 Netflix movies. Hey, find that on this channel. Where does it rank? You gotta find out. But no, I think Breaking Bad ends in a very, very nice way. Apropos, he's in his lab, blood on the tank, staring off into space, and so that's what I got at number 5. What you got at number 4?
All right, so I'm gonna start pissing people off.
Yeah, fuck you, people.
Fuck you, people. I'm going to show that many could widely consider as one of the best shows of all time. I actually didn't watch it until I think it was this year or last year. I wanted to put it on my top shows lists, but we haven't been able to do that because it came out like 20 years ago. I'm going to Sopranos. I think the final season is great. I actually knew the ending. I remember hearing it. It was hard to like escape the ending, the fade out, but I hadn't watched the scene, and I've been like, I knew what it was, but I hadn't watched the scene, or I might have actually when it first came out, but I kind of forgot about it. In the context, I'm perfectly okay with it. There's so much that come out now. I can't imagine like maybe watching it back then, not knowing, but there's so much, studies and interviews and everything done on it now. It's like David Chase even said like Tony Soprano did not make it through the finale. But I think it's just great that the way they did it kind of just kept you guessing, and it's because you don't want him to die. So they're not going to show you him die, but deep down inside, you knew what happened to him. You just didn't want to believe it. But again, just one of the greatest shows of all time. Made a Terrible Journey song memorable. Don't Stop Believing. That's another hot take I have. But just a good wrap up to America's favorite family, The Sopranos.
He does die? Did they confirm that?
David Chase has said that, yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere, but I think recently he came out. I think with the prequel series or prequel movie, he came out and said. But just it wrapped everything up. Some characters that you thought would have didn't kill off it. A lot of characters made it, but then Tony he had to go. Because one of those shows is like if he doesn't, then they can just go on forever and ever, like I'm doing on ever and ever right now.
Don't stop. Believe.
That's how we should have ended the episode.
I should have the song on play by on standby. My number 4. I know I've talked about it before, and it actually does fit. I didn't think about it until doing this list. Oh yeah, it ends on a really, really interesting note. Is Nathan For You, the Nathan Fielder show, ends with finding Francis, I believe is the last episode, where he takes the Bill Gates impersonator that you've met in a previous episode, and the guy tells him a long story about the kind of his lost love, and it's a longer episode too than the rest of the episodes here, and he takes this Bill Gates impersonator, and they go and try to find Francis, his long lost love, and again, just that sounds pretty like standard, simple, and whatnot. Believe me, if you haven't seen this, if you haven't seen this new show, The Rehearsal. He's even got, I believe, a new show coming out where it's him and Emma Stone of all people too. So which I really look forward to. And again, you don't see the twists in terms of where this is coming from. Again, this is technically even a I don't want to call it a spoof show, but like it's real life basically. And the way Nathan Fielder tackles it is completely insane. The whole show is worth it. This finale is worth it. There's another really crazy moment here, like he hires like an actress to say "I love you" to him, and he just keeps having her say it to him. And the way he sells it, like you believe he's like that's what he wants and yearns for, and it's a beautiful, crazy moment here, which I can say for multiple episodes, including this one. Nathan For You, and my number 4. What's in your top 3?
I saw this on many lists, and I've seen a few episodes of this. I really like this show, but I haven't watched it.
Yes.
I really love this show,
honestly, this is one I've gone back to 2 to 3 times, like in general, because there's not that many episodes, so you can kind of binge them relatively quickly.
Yeah, I need
And
to
yeah,
do it.
no, honestly, the whole show, like I said, it's the show concept is he takes small businesses and tries to save them with unique ideas,
Yeah,
but they're
I've
always
seen, like, the
kind of
poop flavor
crazy,
yogurt
avant-garde,
and
over the
things.
top. Like I love the one. It's a gas station, and he goes, free gas, but then he makes them go on like a hike to get
top
the
of the hill.
receipt.
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
a
the top of
handful.
the
of those. I
hill.
need to check. I need to watch it all.
And they're all real people too. Like that one ends with like the people. He's like, "Come on, don't you think that are we really doing this for gas or doing this for the human connection and making friends?" And they finally walk away, and the camera pans, and they were right by the box where they could have gotten the return. All right, number 3.
All right, number 3. This is where I'm pissing people off. I'm going Lost. I
I got
absolutely love it. I remember I watched the first season, a couple seasons. I fell off, and then right when it ended, I decided to start watching it again. My mom spoiled it for me. Or at least she thought she did, but she didn't. She goes, "But they're all dead." And I went, "Really? That's how they did it?" And then I rewatched it, and no, I feel like I don't want to gatekeep and be like, "You just don't get it, man." But so many people just don't understand it. Like, everything happened. Then the side little shift that they had throughout the final season was, them finding each other again in the afterlife, and then finally moving on together, because that was the most important parts of their life together. I thought it was a bold move, and I rather them do something bold than do something safe and boring, and that's what the show does. It does something. I love the show. I will always defend this show as like one of my all-time favorites, and I thought the finale was just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, man. No, I thought I was brave by having it as an honorable mention, but I'm glad you have it on here as well, because like you said,
It almost went 2.
a bit
It almost went
polarizing.
2.
Because I know, like you said, I saw it on both lists. I saw some people say worst, some people say best. I do agree it's more towards the best here, because one, I think the only complaint I have is that I do feel like the creators were like, it's definitely not this, and I think it ended up being kind of more or less what a lot of people thought it would be to a degree. But that's not a bad thing. I just wish the creators had been like, it's definitely not. You know what I mean? Because it is more or less that kind of. You know what I mean? But again, just the dialogue between him and his father, the way it wraps up. And then, of course, the great bookend of the show opens up with his eyes. The show ends with him in the jungle, the eyes. Like, no, it works. It really does work. So I do agree that it's, you know what I mean? And then again, maybe I also had it lower because I also don't necessarily love those last couple seasons. So, but like as far as finale and wrap up, really good. Yeah,
It's a weird ass show. It needs to have a weird ass ending.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? I like that. Even like
Drive Shaft. Shout out Drive Shaft.
Friends. Yeah. Coming to my number 3, you mentioned it earlier. It's most certainly on here. Better Call Saul, I got at my number 3. Man, honestly, this now, again, I loved all of these finales. This top 3 was definitely hard to rank because I do think this nails it perfectly here, because I think Breaking Bad kind of ended with a little bit of a maybe he's alive and what happens to Jesse. This, I think, checks off all the boxes as to what you need to check off here. I love the story arc of Saul / Jimmy. I love how it ends up with him more or less kind of doing the right thing for the girl that he's wanted this entire time here, man. He was about to pull a Jimmy. He's about to fucking get away with it, and in an impossible way. But because she was in trouble, man, he threw it all away to basically jump on the grenade for her. And the final scene with them having a smoke, yeah, you almost going to this finale. I was almost afraid of the finale because I was like, all right, let's see if you can fucking nail it. And they do. They really do, in my opinion. So yeah, number 3, Better Call Saul, absolutely made my list. What do you have for number 2?
Number 2, I'm going semi-recent, and a show that, again, we talked about coming back. It technically kind of came back a couple weeks ago, but in a different form. I'm going with the Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Oh, okay.
Which is a little bit of a bold pick, but it's an episode I've revisited countless times since it aired. For those of you who aren't familiar, Star Wars Clone Wars ended a while ago. Then they brought it back for one final season on Disney Plus, where it was like a time jump. Basically, like Ahsoka had left the Jedi Order. Basically, it seemed like episode like 4 or 5, Obi-Wan and Anakin leave, and that's when you're like, oh, they're going off to Revenge of the Sith. the final episode is Order 66. At this point, we have seen it so many times, but up until that point, when this aired, we hadn't actually seen and everyone survived Order 66 nowadays on Star Wars. But up until this episode, we'd only seen Revenge of the Sith side of Order 66. This side, you get, you get Ahsoka's side of it and her trying to survive it. And it's just, the moment you see it, because I didn't really know how they were going to do it. I thought they maybe would end it before that. I didn't think they would have her go through that. We already knew she survived because of Rebels, but just having the execute Order 66, and then you get her, and then she has to navigate her way out of it, was just jaw dropping. It did such a good job, and you see her, and she still has that connection with Anakin. We got a sequel to it a little bit in Rebels, which came out actually before this. And then we got, obviously, Ahsoka, which I haven't finished yet after this. But just the way to wrap up a story with a story that we've heard before, but still making it so thrilling and just like what's going to happen? What's going to happen? We know what's going to happen. But it was still so beautifully done. And you see her right here just trying to get away from the life, but then being drawn back into it. And you get Anakin as Darth Vader coming in, and it was so good. It was so good. Perfect episode.
Nice. I've seen none of it, but cool. I saw the movie.
I wanted to do something weird, and this is just an episode.
If this goes to your heart, go for it.
Yeah, in terms of episodes, it's something that's I think it's a perfect episode of television that wraps up a storyline perfectly.
I love it.
Even though it's been done before. Now it's been done before, but up until that moment, hadn't seen anything like that.
I love it, man. My number 2, again, I would just went with my heart, The Good Place, man. I think so first of all, just in general for the show, I always loved how it continually evolved here. You know what I mean? The premise of the first season is not really the premise of even, I think, at the end of season 1, and then season 2 and 3, and then finally even the finale here. This thing, I said it before, I'm going to absolutely say it again here. You have the laughs, but boy, do you have the emotional payoff for these characters for what they're going through in this world here. I mean, almost like Lost. This is really just about being fulfilled in your life and kind of the afterlife and even purgatory and whether to stay or to go. This tackles that as well. It also did the perfect 1-2 punch. There's a couple scenes where I swear I'm going from laugh out loud laughing to holding back tears. It's one of those that fucking weird transition of I'm legitimately laughing to now all of a sudden I have tears coming out. You know what I mean? I'm fighting back tears. The relationship between Chidi, I mean, that's why I was hyped when he was fucking popped up in Ant-Man. I look forward to seeing this dude and more. Kristen Bell, she's perfectly casted too, because again, when you first meet her, she's a douchebag. She's this douchey, hasn't done much in her life, kind of looks out for herself person, and her growth to the finale is fantastic here. You can talk about the entire cast. Ted Danson was perfectly casted as well. Even the robotic assistant here, it's great. Jason, everybody here, man, and the finale nails it right here. And I'm gonna stop sharing this clip because I don't want to cry on the show. What you got, number 1?
That's what the show's about. Emotion. I want to cry. Damn, that's beautiful. I need to watch. I've watched the first season. I loved it. I watched the second season. I loved it. And then I was on vacation. I came back. I was watching it week to week, and then for some reason I just fell off. And now I'm super pissed at myself.
Fucking fix that.
I know. I need to fix it. Because I love this show so much. Once I'm done, I'm watching them right now. It's my next show.
No, I'm not even joking. Do that. Do that.
No, I'm finishing a show tonight. Letterkenny might make it on this list, but I don't think it's ending. But we will see. My number 1, it's been said before. It's been said a million times. We always talk about in all the shows. We talk about Breaking Bad is my favorite show of all time. Breaking Bad is my favorite finale of all time. I should have just thrown a curveball and thrown Sons of Anarchy, which also another 18 honorable mentions. But Breaking Bad, I can do whatever I want. Breaking Bad is just a beautiful.
I'll be starting
I'm getting the whole season. Actually. I'm claiming the whole season as my final. Just the way they wrapped it up beautifully. He said it, staring up at the lights, wrapping it up beautifully. You finally get a little bit of freedom for Jesse. You get fucking Jesse Plemons is a piece of crap. You get him dealt with. You get just this beautiful wrap up of these characters that you love but you hate. They get exactly what they want. It's badass. You're like, how's Walter going to get out of this finally? And he just gets out of it with his brain like he always does. But at the end of the day, it caught up with him because you can only outrun your fate for so long. But just beautifully shot, beautifully written, masterfully acted, and I don't think anything. I think it's been enhanced. Yeah, I don't think El Camino hurt it at all. I was a little worried that it would. I don't think it did. I think Jesse still gets because if I remember correctly, he still makes it out. So I think like the way.
So what it is Jesse makes it out of the prison and he's alive and he's on the lam, but he's still on the lam. And if he gets caught by cops, he's gonna go to jail. That's what Camino is can he get to like safe, not just safety, but can he get out of like, spending the rest of his life in jail now kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So like they do a good job of, you get that wrap up, but also just him, just the look on his face as he busts through the gate. And also, I mean, this another bonus point for it is, if you haven't seen it, watch the clip of Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul reading the finale for the first time. Almost as good as the actual finale. Like the looks, like you get it, Bryan Cranston reads it and look on Aaron Paul's face, just like, oh, and like he's just like freaking out. And then they finish it and they're just like silence for a couple minutes or a couple seconds, and you're just like, whoa. So I always love when like they're just as fans of their own work as we are, or of the show that they're in. So just seeing that beautiful moment that they had also kind of enhances this.
That's pretty cool. I've never seen the table read though.
I have no idea what your number one is, which is awesome. Maybe I do.
You say you have no idea, but you absolutely have an idea because we talked about it before. I don't give a shit if it's controversial. It's my show. Scrubs is my
okay. I thought you do Walking Dead
finale of all time. I thought about Walking Dead. I'll say it's slightly honorable, but I actually also left Walking Dead off because it's not really over with. They just decided to call it 4 different shows. So fuck you in that regard, because you're not done. You just have a bunch of spinoffs now. My number one though is Scrubs here, man. I will legitimately, in fact, I'm pretty sure it's this clip that I'm about to play right here on this exact channel. Yeah, City TV is always in the corner. I know it's this clip because I remember City TV. I will legitimately just randomly go Scrubs finale and watch the finale on YouTube.
Just the moment I was talking about.
If I feel inclined. First, I love the final scene with John C. McGinley when, like, the one girl's like, I mean, he's fine, but there's nothing special about him. And then McGinley finally gives out, like, he wasn't just one of the best doctors, but, he was my friend. And then JD comes back in, that was all a setup, and it goes out, we're coming in, gets the hug. And then, of course, the doctor, and then he, of course, Cox looks at the other doctor and goes, he's leaving, but you have to stay here. I didn't think about that. And then finally the finale, man. Walking through that corridor, all the different guest stars throughout all the years here. And I mean, they even brought back people that died, because he's just going through his memories and finally ending with Hooch. Hooch is crazy. And then walking through that door and just saying, kind of admitting, I have a lot of fantasies, but what if my dreams came true? And it shows him marrying Elliot, hanging out with Cox at Christmas, their kids getting together. It's a good finale, man. Hold on.
No. Let it. This is beautiful. This is what TV's about. I love this. It's a beautiful. Oh man, it's a beautiful, beautiful ending. I need to rewatch. We were rewatching it recently. We kind of fell off the rewatch, but I need to get back into this because just watching. This was the moment I was talking about, him standing there. Like, this moment is one of the best moments in.
Yeah, he just watches it in
finale history
too.
You get everything.
No, it really does. It's a beautiful finale. That's why, like, you could say we cheated because, like I said, there is technically another season here. It was supposed to be a spinoff of sorts. It had a subtitle, interns or med school. I think it went through a couple of subtitles, and they kind of cheated because, like, because of the finale and the last season in general. I think is also one of the. There's 7 seasons without that finale, without the last season.
Or is it 8? I think it's 8 plus 1.
Is it A+1? I wasn't sure if it's 7. But anywho, I still think this is in the top half of those seasons. It's a good season. They brought back a lot of people throughout the season. And so the ratings went up. And so they kind of cheated and called that last season, the regular thing, even though JD's only in half of it. The janitor's gone into the first episode. Elliot's only in a couple. You know what I mean? Judy Reyes, I don't know, Faison's wife, she's in none of it because she's like, no, you said the show was done. I'm gonna go on vacation. So I don't count that
season 9 was almost like a Peacock legacy season. They just did that. It's like if they didn't make interns then, I feel like they would have made it now.
Yeah. No, I know that's another one too. Like I know they do a podcast now. I've listened to a few of it. I've been meaning to kind of like check out all of it. Good. What is it? Fake Doctors, Good Friends, something like that. It's a great podcast. So I'm gonna check out more of it. And I would love for them to bring it back too. I think it's something you could easily bring back. Everyone's still around. Dr. Cox, of course. If you ever play trivia here, and if everybody gets the question wrong,
wrong. You're wrong.
Beautiful. Oh, where'd you go?
I think I'm on a slow delay. I'm still hearing immediately after he stops talking. Brandon, what you got for your 10 again?
I got you gonna run perfect. They're on there for me. Brooklyn Nine, because I have like 45 on here. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, New Girl, The Office, the UK version. Just kidding. Better Call Saul. Forgetting the T, but that's cool too. Scrubs. I need that.
Hold on, where was it?
What was God, I don't remember. As soon as this, like when I had a real podcast,
is beater a word because it's not highlighting it like it's spelled wrong? Okay.
Well, it could be. I'm a teacher. I should know that. Better Call Saul, Scrubs. I'm moving to number 1 just because that beautiful moment. Ted Lasso, Sopranos, Lost, Star Wars, The Clone Wars, and Breaking Bad. But overall, Scrubs.
For me, number 10, Parks and Recreation. Number 9, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. 8, Golden Girls. 7, Friends. 6, 30 Rock. 5, Breaking Bad. 4, Nathan For You. 3, Better Call Saul. 2, The Good Place. Number 1, Scrubs. Good stuff here. Oh, my cat just a nice jump. Good stuff here, Brandon. Always appreciated. You got any plugs or parting words for the fine folks at home?
Parting words, Jordan. I love you, Jordan. That was a beautiful moment. This is what TV's all about, and movies are all about.
I did not see that coming. I was fine.
I love it. I'm going to go watch the finale right now.
Oh, my God, I died.
Come back on. Post-credit scene. I'm going to cry in front of everybody. No, it's just always fun. I love these. I love TV. I love talking TV with you. Next, look out for once I'm done being busy, I want to do these a lot more. We talked about best series finales, maybe doing a season finale. I know there's a lot of good ones. That one's made a lot.
That's good because that opens it up for a couple other shows that come to mind that I didn't talk about here.
Yeah, I need some. That one's gonna take a little bit more time to get there, but there's definitely some really good mid-season cliffhangers. Plugs. You can find me on here. It's really like the only consistent place I am. I pop up here and there are other places, but this is my channel. I own this place. Mr. 300.
Mr. 300, you can never take that away from me. Of course, here, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, tell a friend. And, the Book of Love is long and boring. It's a good song. You should karaoke it sometime. If you didn't like this episode, then simply put one word.
Wrong. You're wrong.